Alright, fixing to put the Dynam FW-190 back in the air. A little bit of a concern on this one. I bought this used at Hobby Town. Paid $100 for it, good price. Had a few issues with it. I addressed them as best I could. And one of the things that's going on right now is this cowling right here is busted out. And it's not rubbing on it. It was earlier, but I think it's okay. You can see that motor is slightly loose. It's got a few repair jobs on it. I actually did that one there. This right here actually came off in mid-flight and sheared it right in half right here at this seam line. Glued that back together. Just replaced the rudder back on it yesterday. So it definitely has a few issues with it, but I have more than gotten my money's worth out of it. I only paid $100 for it, and very, very pleased with the amount of flying I've been able to do with it. Been practicing my landings on it. You can see those landing gears are awful just thin wires, and it's not this grass is so wet, I'm just going to set it on the edge of the runway here. But that grass is so soft and those wheels are relatively small, it does not want to land good. And I'm giving it full up, high rates, let off of the back stick, give it some fuel, and right off the ground, gear up. This thing is a lot of fun to fly. It's getting dark. I don't know if you're going to be able to see this or not. This has lights on it, but for some reason they were not installed. There was no connections on it, just bare wires coming in off the light leads. The LEDs, I mean. So it was never hooked up. And like most warbirds, this has a stall tendency if you get it too slow and tip that wing a little too much. And it's very slow to recover out of it too, so keep that in mind if you get one of these. Keep the throttle flowing along. I'm flying along usually about 50-60%. Seems to be a good throttle management position for this plane. That's enough to do some basic aerobatics like that, rolls, and you can go do a good tight loop at 50-60% throttle. Inverted, I wouldn't try it that slow. Inverted, I'd probably get it up closer to 70 or 80%. But for everything else, barrel rolls, things like that, your basic warbird type maneuvers, that 50 to 60% throttle seems like the sweet spot. And it gives you a good long flight time. I can get about 7 minutes off of that. And it's starting to get dark enough now that you can lose orientation on this pretty easy. Like that right there, I couldn't tell you if I'm wings left or wings right. So when that happens, what I've learned is just don't panic. Give your aileron a slight input, one way or the other, and watch the attitude of the plane. And then correct as needed. Like for example, right there, I got a wing down, I don't know which one is which. Give it a little right, and I see it comes back the other way. So that tells me I'm right side up. So it makes it a little easier. And like I said, I'm a new pilot, only been flying about 3 months. Well, coming up on 4, I guess. Took my first flight right around the last week of June. Look at that sunset. With the smog and haze off in the background there, it really looks pretty. Nice and pink. As a new pilot, I'm still struggling immensely with these landings on the tail draggers. I have an apprentice, and that one's no problem. I land it with no issues. Of course, it has a trike landing arrangement on it. I did have another tail dragger, it's a balsa plane, and that one I can land okay. Something about these tail draggers, and I think what my problem is, I'm coming in too slow, and I just haven't learned the sweet spot of where I need to ride out the elevator at. That, and I think I've got too much expo dialed in, where I'm giving it input, nothing's happening, so I'm giving it more input, and gradually more input, and then all of a sudden it moves an amount greater than what I think it should be moving on the elevator, which causes it to float up like that. That right there, I get that out of it when I'm landing, as opposed to just a nice, slow, even pace. So I was going to do it on this trip, but I snuck out of here real quick. Well, I still had a little bit of daylight. But definitely for the next trip out here, I'm going to set a position in my radio that will let me dial it in with the elevator. Will just be a very, very, very small amount of expo. And there's my timer. So we'll drop the gears, and this next pass we'll try to set up for a landing. I've actually belly landed this. The other day I was having an issue with one of the gears not functioning. It had moisture in it. Alright, start our descent. Come back over the runway first, Dave. Start our descent. You know what, I'm going to go around again. I got enough time. I have my timer on this set for 5 minutes, and I've been doing very, very good throttle management on this flight, so I think I still have enough time for a couple more passes if I need it. Alright, here we go. I'm going to start our ascent down. Give it ever so slightly. Right there. Follow it in, Dave. Oh, there. Went around. Too far. That's what I was talking about. I'm giving it up elevator. Nothing's really happening, and then all of a sudden, bam. It's like it moves 40%. So I definitely think it's that expo. I'm real curious to change that out. If I had more daylight, I'd change it out now and give it a try, but unfortunately, this will be the last flight before we lose the daylight. Alright, on this next pass, we'll have to take it whether we like it or not. I don't want to drain the battery down below about 3.7. I shoot for 3.8, but 3.7, 3.6 every on occasion ain't gonna hurt you, or at least it's never hurt me anyway. Alright, here we go, coming in. And right over on the nose. Oh, well, one day I will get that down. Let's see if we can taxi this back, maybe give me a little practice on the ground. Come full stick up and yep, see right there, that's full back elevator, and she still pumps over on me. So let's just carry it back and see where we're at. I want to give that battery a check just for giggles. That way everybody can see what the drainage point was on it. Alright, let's pop the battery out real fast. It's been getting warm in my battery compartment. I don't know if that's because of that cowling up there may have obstructions. But let's give this a quick check. See where we're at. Now, I don't know if you can see this or not. So I'll move around some. 15.4 total, 3.85, 3.85, and 3.86. So that's just perfect. And again, that was about 7 minutes total elapsed time now, so it's probably a 6-minute flight. Not too bad. Alright, thanks for watching, guys.